Our next award is the BLG Stephen Sigurdsson Lifetime Achievement Award. I would like to call to the stage Mr. John Murphy, National Managing Partner and CEO of Borden Ladner Gervais. There you are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Borden Ladner Gervais is very proud to be a sponsor of the Canadian General Counsel Awards, and in particular, the Lifetime Achievement Award. General Counsel make a tremendous contribution to the Canadian economy, and we are pleased to recognize their accomplishments tonight. I, too, would like to add my congratulations to each of the finalists. Now more than ever, their demanding roles require both exceptional legal expertise and superior business acumen. The Lifetime Achievement Award truly does represent the very essence of a successful career and honors a recipient who has made a lasting contribution to their organization, to the legal community, and more broadly, to the Canadian business community. In 2017, Stephen Sigurdsson was posthumously awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award as he embodied the best of the legal profession. And at BLG, we thought there was no better way to pay tribute to this great lawyer than to rename the award in his honor. Tonight's recipient is greatly admired by many of us in the room. You might even say he is the Dean of In-House Counsel. He stands out for his very strong commitment and consistent leadership at George Weston Limited, where he guided the organization with a passion for diversity and inclusion within his team and fostering their growth. He has played a crucial role in some of the most consequential transactions and events in Canada in recent years, while remaining steadfastly committed to increasing access to justice in our communities through his excellent work with Pro Bono Ontario. I am pleased to recognize that the recipient of the 2023 BLG Stephen Sigurdsson Lifetime Achievement Award is Gord Currie, Executive Vice President and Chief Legal Officer of George Weston Limited. Let's take a look at the video that was made in your honor.
How did I get started in the journey of law? It was mostly luck. I finished my undergraduate degree, and before I took a gap year to travel around the world, a few friends said you should write your LSAT exam, so I did. And I got a telegram from my mother when I was in New Delhi in India, and she said, you got to make a choice. So it was either going to graduate school for history and economics or law school, and that was that. No tradition of lawyers in the family other than a grandfather who apparently, great-grandfather who was a judge 100 years ago. I took my first office job downtown at Blake's in 1980, and the rest is one thing after another.
Gord has made a positive impression on me from the very beginning. I met him 43 years ago when he was a student in my class at the University of Toronto Law School. He was good then, and he's really good now.
What do we need to know about Gord as a person? Well, I think everybody knows that he's a workaholic. He's also an avid hiker. He's a great cross-country skier.
He's unbelievably smart.
He has those high standards, but he's also one of the most supportive, empathetic, and generous leaders I have ever worked for.
He's so efficient, but he's also so collaborative. He brings his team along.
He's someone who you can go to if you have an issue, and he will always come up with a different perspective that you may not have thought of.
So I joined George Weston Limited in 2005, working for Galen Weston Sr., who at that time was the chairman of both George Weston and Loblaws.
So in terms of achievements, Gord has worked on some of the biggest transactions involving the Weston Group over the last 20 years. And so Gord has not just participated in those, but he's been at the table and making sure those are happening. So think of the acquisition of Shoppers Drug Mart, the creation of Choice REIT.
Like it's been a period of incredible change within the organization. The fact that this organization is as successful as it is and has been for so many years in a corporate environment that is ruthlessly unforgiving. He didn't do that alone, of course, but he's been a key part of it throughout. And for him to have shepherded all that change under a period of great stress and instability in the marketplace is really extraordinary.
So I think one of the things that resonates so much about Gord is his leadership style. I mean, he's extremely smart and always up to speed, regardless of whether he's had the document for 5 minutes or 5 hours. He's always right on the ball, but he also gives such space and time for his colleagues and the junior people working with him for them to go first and for them to weigh in and build on their ideas, which I think is really admirable.
Gord was the chair of our board for the past 3 years, and under his leadership, the organization has flourished like never before. Gord has shown an unwavering commitment to the public good. He has used his platform to show the importance of giving back to the community, and especially for lawyers to give back to the community using their legal skills.
What makes Gord special, I think, is his drive to always be better and his leadership in pushing and encouraging other people to be better and his expectation that other people can do better. He's created a culture within the company and within his group that reflects that striving for better, being better at all times.
So I was a relatively new partner. I was a bit nervous with dealing with Gord, and one day he confronted me and he said, "Cornell, you never call me. Why is that?" And I had to fess up that I didn't call him because I just found it, I thought, gee, this is a bit too hard. I think I'll just send him an email. And he said, "Cornell, you're past the stage in your career when age should matter. When you are working with me, you've got to step up and be an equal with me." And that was a hugely important moment in my career because it forced me to elevate my own thinking and practice to a higher level.
Gord and I have worked together for nearly 20 years. That means that he's been my partner in just about every single major decision that we've made across the Weston Group. Whether it was restructuring Loblaw, whether it was buying Shoppers Drug Mart, whether it was creating Choice Properties, or even facing into litigation. Gord has always been there as a partner and a contributor. And the thing that makes Gord so important to work with is that he always makes a decision to do what's right rather than to do what's best. And when you're looking for an advisor, to give you counsel on what decisions to make, that is an incredibly valuable characteristic.
Could I imagine doing anything else but this? Yes, I could. But would I do anything differently? And do I wish that I'd done something different? Not a minute. I love private practice. I had almost 20 years in private practice at Blake's, and it was a great place for me with great colleagues, and I learned a lot. But the last almost 20 years have been so rewarding. I learn something new every day, and I like to think I've made a contribution to some of the successes and facing into some of the challenges. So it's been really wonderful. That kid in New Delhi made the right decision. Yeah, I flipped the rupee, proverbially speaking, and it came up law, and it's been a great journey for me.
Gord, the one thing I'd want to say to you is just thank you so much for your leadership over the last 15 years. It's been such a privilege to work with you, and I hope we get 15 more.
You have been a tremendous client, you've been a wonderful colleague, and I'm very pleased that you're also a friend.
Your mark on the organization will stand the test of time. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
I know it's very uncomfortable for you to sit and receive this praise, but it's very well deserved. So thank you and congratulations.
I offer you congratulations on a great career so far. But let's be honest, you're young at heart, you're young in spirit, you're going to do a lot more, and all the best going forward.
So Gord, I suspect you're squirming in discomfort right now, being the center of attention in the limelight, but too bad. This is our chance to tell you how extraordinary your career has been, how much you're loved, and how much you'll be missed when you're gone.
This is an incredibly well-deserved recognition. You and I have worked together for 20 years. I've loved every minute of it, and I can't tell you how important it's been to me that you've been by my side. Thanks.
Gord, warmest congratulations. This is a wonderful moment of richly deserved recognition for a truly exceptional career. I'm delighted for you, thrilled for you, that your colleagues and your peers are recognizing you in this way. No one could deserve this honor more than you. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Gord Currie.
Distinguished guests, the 2023 Canadian General Counsel Awards Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, Gordon Currie, George Weston Limited.
Yeah, I was squirming. You got me. So I think I'll start by saying that many of my friends and colleagues in the room who know me will readily agree that I'm rarely, if ever, at a loss for words. It's a problem. But I'll admit that yesterday afternoon, when I sat down to think about what I might say, I was pretty stumped. And after watching that video, it's pretty clear to me I should sit down right now, because it's only going to go downhill if I say anything more. But I will, as is my style. Like another person up here tonight, I too thought of ChatGPT, because that's all we're thinking about these days. But even more interesting than that, so too did my wife Robin's and my older daughter Alexandra, who's living in London and has for many years. And she not only asked ChatGPT to write a speech for me, she said, please do it as a poem. And it started out as there once was a lawyer named Gord, and it went downhill very, very quickly after that. And when I went back and looked at what I had written for me by this amazing tool, it was clearly so full of hallucinations that I had to put it down. And that's a word, by the way, for those of you who haven't caught on to that. That's a technology word. And I have to resort to last year's technology, so this comes from me and not from a computer. The starting place, of course, is a few important thank yous. To ZSA and the National Post as lead sponsors, to BLG, Tories, and Osler Hoskin, who nominated me, and to John for presenting me with this award and giving me a chance to put my tux on for the first time since COVID. It kind of fits. It's a little tighter. To the advisory board who selected me, to those on the video who said a lot of nice things about me, and most importantly, to my fabulous colleagues across the business and the Weston Group leadership team, who I'm very proud to say are sitting at table 24, just across the room there. My life is pretty simple, as I thought about it, and I've said this for some time. And it's thanks to two amazing women. One, my wife Robin, is here tonight. The other, Teresa Donnelly, my friend, colleague, and executive assistant, couldn't be here due to an important family commitment. Robin has been at my side since before my first day at law school in 1980. Teresa joined me 37 years ago as a young secretary at Blake's. And somewhat unbelievably, at least to me, probably to her, but she's too nice to say it, she's stuck with me ever since. Every day, the two of them point me in the right direction. As long as I listen carefully, things seem to turn out okay. They have been known on occasion to conspire together when I need a more serious course correction. And when it gets really serious, they enlist the support of my daughters, Alexandra and Shane, who are as strong and accomplished in their advocacy as anyone in this room. Daughters tend to be like that with adoring and proud fathers. These women know how much I depend on them, and as much as they are accomplished in their own right, my success is definitely theirs. Now, awards like this lead to a little bit of introspection, and I'm sure you'll all be very relieved to hear that my own journey down memory lane yesterday didn't uncover a long list of pearls of wisdom to share with you, so you're spared. But that journey did underscore for me how incredibly privileged I've been in my career. And that list of privileges is long. I'll share only a few with you. I've been privileged, like so many of us in this room, to be in a job that constantly demands new skills and new ways of doing things. I was trained in the practice of law, as you heard, by the best when I was at Blake's, including Judy Wilson, I might add. And as a history and economics major, it's very clear that everything I know about business has come from asking question after question after question from my very, very patient colleagues. Today, and this is a bit of a sidebar, but today many of us worry about how lawyers of the future will benefit from the same kind of training that we received. I have no crystal ball, but I find myself more optimistic than perhaps some of us may be. Those who are the best general counsel, those who build the best legal departments, and who add the most value also seem to me to be wonderful teachers. It's a competitive advantage of the first order, and that gives me reason for optimism. Secondly, I've had the enormous privilege to work for the Weston family. At first, Galen Weston Sr., and for quite some time now, his son and the current chair and CEO, Galen Weston. Their commitment to Canada, to building generational value, and their support of me have been core to sustaining my own dedication and enthusiasm for the job 18 years in. The purpose of an organization and the values that are its DNA really do matter, and I wish I'd learned that earlier in my career as a leader. I often say, and many of us do, that practicing law is a team sport. And I have the privilege of having unbelievably great players on the squad. Their training wheels are long gone, and my colleagues there are flying higher, faster, and stronger than those who came before. Now, I haven't checked, but I'd bet that everyone who stood before me and received this award in prior years has said something similar about their teams, and indeed we've heard it tonight from the award winners. And that's, of course, for a good reason. The high-profile cases and the deals fade over time, but the people endure, and that's what matters. Lastly, one of the things that makes the practice of law inside a company so interesting is the fact that the law intersects with all aspects of business today. It can be all-consuming, and therein lies a trap for people like me, and I dare say others in the room. And that is that it's tempting to just dig into the work and to become, as a result, quite insular, particularly in a large business like the one I work for. Fortunately, and this is my last privilege that I'm going to speak to, I've had the privilege of engaging in a range of volunteer activities over the years, which have opened up my world enormously. They've made me a better lawyer, and I like to think a better person. My dealings with Pro Bono Ontario, and you saw Lynn Burns on the video, are a notable recent example, and I'm flattered that she and others from the PBO team are here tonight. We hear it all the time that the practice of law is a privilege. I believe that. As a profession, we need to acknowledge that privilege by giving more of our time and energy to those in need. It's where I hope to spend more of my time in the future as I pass the baton to the next generation of leaders in my company. So thank you very much.